Call the meeting to order for the Mandan Public School District. Today is Monday, June 23rd, 4 o'clock. We're in the Bosch Freilich Room. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next up, we got the approval of agenda. Any changes to the agenda? Being none. What are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Ms. Remenich, please call roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Yes.
Public
Yes.
Public communication. Anybody in the audience wishing to speak anything on the agenda? Anyone in the audience? Going once, twice? We'll move on. Administrator's report. First up, the liquidation sale. Mr. Lagasse and Lee Pierce is here also.
Yes, I'll do just a brief update on our liquidation sale at the high school, and then I'll turn it over to Lee to talk about demolition at the high school. We are still waiting for our settlement statement from McLaughlin Auctioneers. There's been a few big ticket items that we're working with the buyers to get out, the gym floor being one. Kind of found out on Friday that we're not able to take that out, so we have to refund the buyer. It's with asbestos underneath, the way it's going to come out, I don't know that we can safely take it out. So, and I think the stage floor is another item that's proving a little more difficult than we thought it would be. But overall, gross sales were just over $300,000. We'll get a final number here within the next few days, and I'll share that with the board at the next meeting. So
they're not even able to cut out pieces of the floor at all? Or?
I think we will, but we're going to be very careful with it. We do not want to take a saw too deep, and if we get into the asbestos that's underneath the gym floor, we could cause environmental issues, and we do not want to go there.
Okay.
All right. If there's no questions on the liquidation sale, I invite Lee Pierce to come forward and kind of talk about demolition at the high school. We thought this maybe be not going to say a simple process, but it is turning into a much bigger project than I ever envisioned. So I've asked Lee from Icon to come and talk through the timeline and the process that we're looking at to demo the building.
All right, as you said, I'm Lee Pierce with Icon Architectural Group. So here's my history for today. It's almost 7 years ago this month that Ryan initially called me to say there's been an issue up at the high school with a floor failure. So a lot of work's been done, a lot of phases for this over the last 7 years. So that's why now I'm wearing cheaters, because it's always taking a toll on some of us. But we're getting there. We're down on the final phase. So exciting things have all happened with all of this. As Ryan said, a lot of this work, it's not just a matter of bringing a wrecking ball and some trucks in here and getting it out. We want to make sure that we are taking care of it in a safe manner, in the proper manner. This has always been a good partnership with this land between the school district, the park district, and the city. So we want to maintain those relationships as we're taking care of the demolition of this, being respectful and honoring all of your agreements that you've had with the park district as far as All Seasons Arena is still on the property, maintaining access to that throughout the demolition. We've set up several meetings. Ryan and I and Charlie actually kicked off right before or right after Memorial Day weekend, kind of starting to outline how this whole process needs to be. We need to understand, too, circulation around the site. Since All Seasons Arena is going to be staying open and active during the demolition, how are we making sure that people are getting in and out of there in a safe manner, keeping away from the construction site, talking that through, where's parking going to be. So we've kind of made a list, too, of all the entities that need to be a part of this whole process. We did already have another meeting too with city officials, letting them know the intent of where security fencing is going to be, access in and out of the job site. We want to stay off the city streets as much as we can because they're not built for this kind of traffic. So we want to try and keep all access, all circulation within the confines of the site as much as we possibly can. And again, like I said, just security within the site, and then keeping just the city in the know of what's going on. The final intention is to have the site as developable land that the school district can sell off, whether it's a whole plat or portions thereof. So we want to make sure that we're setting whomever that is up in a good stance with the city, understanding all of the property lines, the easements, the setbacks, all of that, so they don't have to come in and do any, I guess, cleanup on some of those things. So we're being very diligent and intentional, bringing those folks in and making them a part of this whole process. So that's a little bit of a backlog. We've already had about 5 meetings with different entities. We're scheduling more meetings as we are going through to make sure everybody's on the same page moving forward, and that all the documentation is appropriate and setting it up the way everyone's agreeing upon. So we started with our schematic demolition design. We're scheduling to be that. We've called up and had Abe Ulmer for our civil engineer from ILSE. He's got a very big history with this property and was part of our facility study team, so he has a lot of knowledge on that. He's tying in all of the utilities within the site, getting property lines for sure nailed out, all the topography of the land within there. We're looking to be completed with all of that and our preliminary drawings by the end of this month. So end of this week, maybe the beginning of next week, we'll have those initial schematics all the way completed, and we're on target with that. I know Abe's had a crew up here doing some not up here, I guess I'm thinking of the school, but up there doing some site surveying and getting all of that completed. So he's feeling good that they'll have that done before the 4th of July. Then we'll move on to our design development, where we're further just tying in everything, making sure the elevations we're doing some building cross sections so that as contractors are going up to bid for this, they know how deep are the footings and foundation, how much soil and everything they're going to have to pull out of and replace with. So we're trying to get those depths tied in with the elevations that Abe is currently going through. So that'll be part of our design development. It's going to be running simultaneously with some of the other meetings that we're setting up through Ryan and the administrative team with Park District and the city, so that we're all staying on the same page as we're moving forward with all the development of all of these things. So design development, we're slated to be completed with that by the end of July, first part of August. For then the construction documents, which is all the final documentation of it, all the specifications, everything laid out to be completed by mid-September. Going through bidding process, contracts, and we're shooting to start demolition by mid to late October of this year. In talking too with kind of some high-level demolition processes and timelines of it, we're looking for demolition to be complete by middle of April or beginning of May of next year. We need to also understand, no one knows how Mother Nature is going to work, so we want to work through that. And if we do lose some time, maybe if it's a terrible winter or very wet, how can we maybe make up time? Because we don't want to start this process and start, stop for anybody's means. So we want to make sure that we are giving enough time, but keeping it to as tight a timeline as we possibly can, so that by next spring, next summer, it's all ready to go, and then the school district can proceed forward with how they need to with the property. We want to leave it, like I said, looking at it 2 ways, making sure it's ready for a developer to come in and just hit the ground running, or if for some reason it doesn't sell right away, it's easy to maintain, it's draining, it's being properly cared for in the interim. So that's where we're at. As we keep moving through the process, I'm sure that we'll be giving updates with more targeted dates than this, but this is what we've been working with thus far. With everyone we've talked to date, this seems like a good schedule that we'll be able to maintain.
Haley, thanks. This does sound a lot more complicated than I imagined. A big wrecking ball would be so cool. You mentioned making sure the ASA is available, and also the Brave Center, that section too, we're going to show that to the public a little bit so they understand how to get it in and out ahead of time. I was curious about the communications to the city, to the neighborhood, the people in the neighborhood, and how we get the word out about what's happening and what they can expect in those areas.
I can probably take this one. So once we get a final plan approved from the city and a demo plan, we'll work with Janelle and city folks to make sure that we get it out in the Mandan Messenger, as well as our social media pages. We want to make sure that the site is secure and maintained, and that part of that is communication.
And they referenced that we did have a meeting with the city. We kind of showed them what we thought as far as fencing and as far as entrances and exits where trucks will be going in and where they're leaving. We wanted to make sure we were on the same page with the city and that they're thinking, what we're thinking. So that'll be communicated, but that construction or that demo isn't going to start probably till at the very earliest late fall, early winter.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Well, I guess it'd be, have we had any interest in anyone purchasing it? Real interest?
I've had, I'm sure, no fewer than 20 or 30 people who want the building. Every time they want it and they start digging into it, they realize they can't make it work. Right now, it's still owned agricultural. It never was changed back in 1957 when it was built. It was farmland, and it's never been changed. So any new purpose that anybody wants for it is going to have to go through zoning and planning. The city's going to have to approve it. It's going to need heat. It's going to need, and no one can make it work. There's a reason we abandoned that building. It was not in very good shape. It's got some foundation issues up and around the gym. People have talked about, well, they just want to save the auditorium. Well, there's a bunch of code issues down there. We don't have enough bathrooms for the auditorium in the auditorium area. It just, no one can make it work. But yeah, I'm sure I've met with insurance agents. I've met with people have brought their insurance agents in, their construction people in. It's just not doable.
Okay, thank you.
Well, with that too, I guess we don't want to have another old junior high issue of building sitting forever.
Yeah, that became a nightmare for us. It was before all of our time, but the city decided that, or the school district decided that it had some value, and they did not tear the old junior high down. And we actually sold it. It wasn't ours, but then it came back to the city's, and for several years, the city reminded us that we made our problem their problem, and it was a mess. It turned out okay. It's now an apartment building, but it was a long process. It was probably a 10-year process for that to happen.
That's why too, I guess with our discussions is at the end of the day, when the demo is done and the grading is done, that it's set up that again, if for some reason no one purchases it right away, it's still going to be looking nice, draining nice. It's on a very prominent street. Everyone's going to see it. So we've been very cognizant about the final look of it.
I guess just making sure like all the people that are involved, city, park, school district, everyone's so far on the same page that nobody's having concerns.
Yep, everybody to date that we've met with is all on the same page. We've all kind of sat around the map, I guess, and looked at it and asked exhaustive amount of questions, I think, to date, knowing that even the meetings that we have had, those won't be the last ones. We will do one more round with each entity just to make sure we're dotting the i's, crossing the t's. And, as you walk away, you think of things and it comes back to you. So everyone has a chance to come back and, oh yeah, what about this? We want to make sure that we're fully encompassing everybody's needs.
I've got one quick note. While the building is vacant, we are working with the fire department and the police department. They will be holding trainings in that building, so if you see a lot of fire trucks and police vehicles around the school, it is for training purposes. If it's not, we will let you know.
Well, it's good that it can be used for that purpose. That's, so, yeah. Okay, anything else for anybody? All right, thank you, Lee.
All right, thank you.
Next up, we got update on the Child Nutrition Director position, Dr. Rederath.
Yes, we offered and she accepted to Jewel Meyer, who was our lead cook at Lewis and Clark the last 3 years, and prior to that for 6 years ran the child nutrition program in Glen Ullin. So has some good experience for us. Really excited to have her, and so she will start here in the middle of July doing work for us.
Okay, any questions on that?
Welcome.
Right. Next up, on the consent agenda, we have review and consider approval of previous board minutes, May 19th, 2025. Review and consider approval of special board meeting minutes, May 23rd, 25. Review and consider approval of special board meeting minutes, May 30th, 2025. Review and consider approval of May 2025 bills. Review and consider approval of May 2025 revenue and expenditures. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Yeah, I'd move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and acceptance, or second. Ms. Rabinich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. We have nothing on unfinished business. Under new business, we have canvass and consider approving results of the June 12th Mandan School Board election. Mr. Legacy.
Yes, included in your packet are the results for the school board election. We had 58 total voters. Jake Schmidt, Lori Furris, and Tom Peters were our top 3 vote getters for the 3 positions. I would recommend approving the school board results.
Congratulations to the 3 incumbents. I'm sure it was a hard-fought race for them, but what are the wishes of the board?
I'd move to approve the results of the June 13th Mandan School Board election.
Second.
Motion and a second. Please, Ms. Rabinich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next up, review and consider awarding the fluid milk bid to the low bidder, Sunrise Delivery.
Correct, and in your packet is the rubric. We did this together with Bismarck Public Schools. We were the lead on this, and it's our milk bid, and we had 2 bids from Prairie Farms and Sunrise Delivery. You can see the rubric in there, but Sunrise was the low bid. They were $48,000 lower for Mandan, so it would be our recommendation. And they also scored better throughout the rubric, but it would be our recommendation to award the fluid milk bid to Sunrise Delivery.
Is this the first time now we're bidding with Bismarck? Have we done this before?
Yeah,
Is it?
I think several months back, you guys did a motion that allows us to bid product together. It just makes sense that we work, when they're delivering to both of us, that we work together, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought this was the first time, so it worked
Yeah.
fine.
Yep.
Working with Bismarck.
Yep.
Any questions on that? What are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve the low bid to Sunrise Delivery for our fluid milk bid.
Second.
Okay, we have motion and second. Any discussion? Otherwise, Ms. Rabinich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next up, review and consider approval of a possible name change for Mandan Alternative High School.
Yes, traditionally it's been known as the Brave Center Academy for a long time, and much of that had to do with its physical location was in the Brave Center across from the high school. Well, since building the new high school, we've had the opportunity to put that campus on one of the wings of the actual high school itself, and so continuing to call it the Brave Center Academy has caused some confusion for people, like where are you at, where do we go? And in addition to that, our alternative programming over the last 5 years has really evolved to include our virtual academy, to include our day treatment programs, and so really calling it the Braves alternative education area is more reflective of all the different pieces that are going on down there. So that is what they would like to rename it. It fits kind of in the vein of we have rivers and streams on that side, so referring to it as the bay kind of fits into the area and the building in which they're in. So that is the whole motivation beyond or for looking at changing the name from Brave Center Academy to Braves Alternative Education. It would not change anything. Still currently our Brave Center students, both the alternative high school and the virtual high school, get Mandan high school diplomas. So that none of that would change with this. This would just be basically handbooks and how we refer to the program.
I have a question. I don't know if it matters. I mean, I like the bay, the alliteration. I just was thinking that it's Mandan Alternative Education. It's not Braves Alternative Education, and so I'm just struggling with that a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't love it
Yeah.
because of that. Because it's a serious thing. It's
And we
not,
kind of we played with that too, and how we wanted to rename it. We talked about Mandan, but then we're getting really close to like MEA,
yeah.
which was not flowing real great either. So that was part of it. And I think the whole idea right now is just to delineate it from the physical Brave Center Academy itself. And we can always revisit naming the program if, as we go with it. It's a big logistical issue right now for anything, more than anything.
Well,
for
and
us.
it does make a continuum of Brave Center Academy to Brave Alternative Education.
Yeah.
And it's not a hill I'm going to die on or anything. I just
Sure.
wanna
If you want to
talk
kick
about
it down a month, we could do that as well. We could wait a month and do it in July.
Absolutely, if people want to
Because I know this is the first time you're hearing it, but I know, we just have people that are coming to the Brave Center, period, that when they search it, Google takes them to the new high school, and it's been creating confusion. I think we need to do something. It doesn't have to be the Bay. I mean,
I really like alternative education. I think that is a good comprehensive term. I just wanted to talk about that first part, and
Yeah.
I don't, unless somebody else is worried that our colleagues are going to kick, I'm not concerned about it. I just wanted to have the conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, because I agree with that, but the thing I've got we're not concerned with, it's calling a campus. We're all on one campus already, so
Yeah.
it's not a separate campus. It's all within the one building, so. But if you're going to go with just the Bay, I mean, campus is not going to be part of it.
No.
So-
No.
Braves Alternative Education. That's right.
Yep. Yep. Basically a wing within the school, or part of a wing.
Find it.
I have a question regarding, it's just, why did we put the alternative high school up there? Why wouldn't it be separate?
I
Why
think
didn't it
there's
stay at the Brave
Yeah, there's
Center?
a few reasons for it. I think one is just honestly economical for us as far as utilizing space. But even more than that, more and more we have kids kind of accessing things like welding, accessing health careers, accessing some of those occupational courses. And by physically having them there, we could do that. We also, busing is a huge hurdle and transportation is a huge hurdle for alternative education students. And so by having it at the high school, it's opened up some opportunities transportation-wise for students to be able to access. And it's also allowed us some flexibility because we all know kids are gray area kids. Very rarely is there an A kid and a B kid and they fit cleanly. So having that program there, if I'm doing pretty well in most everything, but I'm really struggling in the afternoon and I can go access a virtual class or I can go access a different setting for just the afternoon, but still maintain most of my day in the high school, it's been a nice cross serving of students. So that was really the motivation of bringing it up there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
What are the wishes of the board? Do you want to kick it down for a month? Do you want to?
Call the question. I move to approve the name change of the Brave Center Academy to Braves Alternative Education.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Revenich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next up, we review and consider approval of certified contracts for 2025-2026 school year. We have Tamara Wagner, Science at the Mandan Middle School, Rebecca Brown, Elementary at Lewis and Clark, Carly Mann, Elementary, Lewis and Clark, and Dalton Adams, Special Education at Mandan Middle School. Dr. Redrath.
Just we're excited to have them all and welcome them to Mandan Public Schools.
So with this now, everybody
We are not
hired,
quite
or
full. We still have 8th grade ELA open at the middle school right now. So looking at some options there. So that's our only certified opening at the moment, but we do have 8th grade ELA still open.
Okay. What are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve those certified contracts for 25-26.
Second?
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Ms. Rabinich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. I'd like to welcome the new teachers to our school district. Next up, review and consider approval of certified resignations. Dr. Redrath.
Yes, just a note on all 4 of these. No one had signed their contract yet, so it was no needing to get out of contract. They just rejected the one offered to them. And we wish them all the best and thank them for their service at Mandan.
I'd move to approve the certified resignations presented and formally to thank those teachers for their service to Mandan. We love our teachers.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the resignations. Ms. Rabinich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Review and consider approval of classified wages for 2025-2026 school year. Mr. Legacy.
Yes, good evening. In your packet is a proposal to increase our classified and professional wages by 3% for next year. This is lower than we've done the last 3 years, but our budget right now is dictating a lower increase than we've done the past few years. You can see last year we did 5%, and then the 2 years before in 24 and 23 we were at 6% and 6.65%. The 3% is really, we're trying to increase wages as much as possible. Our teachers are going to be 2.66% higher next year, administrators 2.5%. So we are trying to stay as competitive as possible with those hourly wages. We are seeing a lot of turnover with custodians, with paras, with cooks. We need to try to do something, but really 3% is about what we can do with our budget limitations next year. I would recommend approving this. You can see a 3% increase would be over $400,000 in new expenses in the general fund and $45,000 in our hot lunch fund. So,
In the past, we've done, has it been just straight 5%? We've done a variation of a dollar amount of percentage, haven't we?
there has in the past. We haven't the past couple of years. We've done some step increases. We've done some flat amounts of, say, 60 cents an hour flat plus a percentage. Those were not well received in the past. I think the flat seems to work better for our staff.
And with this, in the past you showed us kind of the breakdown of all the categories in our budget for the next few years. Was this included in that part when you were talking to us?
Yes, I had included a 2.5% increase in our budget, so this is slightly higher. I think we have to do it. So.
Okay, the question I've got is, I should abstain, but is there enough that we can vote on it? We fine?
If the board, if the remaining board members allow you to vote, yes, that's not a problem. So, otherwise we will have to wait till July.
Mr. Horn is, what he's referring to is his wife is an employee who will get a raise. But if you guys allow him to vote or are okay with him voting, he can vote.
Yes, we're okay with it.
Okay. Just want to put it out there. So. All right, any questions on that increase? Otherwise, what is the wishes of the board?
I'd move that we approve the classified wages increase for 25-26 at the 3%.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Otherwise, Ms. Rabinich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next up, review and approve the following agreements for the 2025-26 school year. We got the business manager, assistant superintendent, and superintendent.
Correct, and all three of our agreements are in the packet. It would be our recommendation that you approve them. The composite or the overall increase for the three of us was just over 2%. Believe it was 2.2%. We would recommend that you approve that. One other adjustment, we are 12-month employees. With our 12-month employees, when we can only accumulate, we get 20 days of vacation a year, we can only accumulate to 40. The way that will work is we get 20 days of vacation, we can get to 40, and during the year, if we get to 41, 42, we can do that. That's the agreement you made with the administrative group. And then by next June 30th, it has to be down to 40 or you lose anything over 40. Did I say that correctly? Yes, okay.
And that's the same, we're putting in effect for any 12-month employee.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. Which I think is only right. I mean,
Yep.
as long as you get down to your 40 at year end, that's
Yep.
all we're concerned with. So, okay. Any questions on the contracts or discussion at all? What are the wishes?
I'd move to approve the leadership agreements for the 25-26 school year. Contracts.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Otherwise, Ms. Remenich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Next up, review and approval of an open enrollment application seeking a deadline waiver. One individual?
Correct. It seems like we have one of these almost every meeting. This is a Mandan student whose family is relocated out of district and they would like to remain in Mandan. It would be our recommendation to approve this application.
Okay, what are the wishes of the board?
I would move that we approve this open enrollment application.
All right, motion and a second, accept it. Any discussion? Otherwise, Ms. Remenich, please call roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Last item, future meeting dates. We go July 21st, regular board meeting, 5:30 City Hall. August 4th, regular board meeting, 5:30 City Hall. August 18th, regular board meeting, 5:30 City Hall. August 18th, board meeting or board retreat, 6 o'clock at City Hall. And August 25th, Facility and Finance, 5 o'clock at the Brave Center. Any other meetings anybody knows of? None? Okay. This meeting is adjourned.